Now we're going to talk about the overvalued players. Players, not necessarily we're saying they're going to suck necessarily, but for what, a lot of these sports leagues are valuing them at, we think it's a little too much and there's too much hype into them. So we're going to call them overvalued. Let's start off with guards. I guess you started it. I'll start it this time. Okay. So overvalued at guards, I have Kyrie Irving.
Oh, okay.
Nothing against him as a player. It's just pure injury and the news that, Steve Nash may not play him too much. And so I think, obviously you can get him later rounds, go for it because he's just too good of a player. But, if he's hovering around that early mid, I would stay away.
Yeah, honestly, if Kyrie Irving was fully healthy, he would be so good.
Yeah, of course.
Because of that injury, you don't want that.
Yeah.
My first guard is actually Tyler Hero.
Oh,
I feel like people.
I didn't even think about him.
People are gonna. He's very overhyped right now because of the
they got music on him.
Not to say he's a bad player.
Yeah.
I honestly think he's a decent player, but I think in fantasy wise, people are gonna overreach for him because of his name.
Yep.
There's too much depth in that Heat team.
Yeah.
In that position, and. Even though I think he will improve as a basketball player, I don't think you should reach for him. And I think his value where he's at is too high.
Too high. Okay, good pick there. Another pick, and this is more of a risk, but I will take the risk, and it's your guy, LaMelo Ball. Ooh. A lot of people are going to take him because everybody likes him. I understand maybe if you take him maybe like later in the season, but out of the draft, I don't think you should take him.
You don't think even like last pick?
I wouldn't. I personally would. I think they have two phenomenal guards. I don't want to say phenomenal. I'm going to say pretty good guards. Viable guards in Devontae Graham and Terry Rozier. And so I wouldn't take them unless, if you really want to take that risk, go ahead, but definitely don't reach for him.
Do you think if Graham or Rozier went down, Ball catapults into a very fantasy viable position?
I don't want to say very. I almost feel like I know how good he is, but I do think he needs a little bit of experience.
Interesting.
Kind of like Curry, because Curry didn't kill it coming off like his.
But Ball is one of the few people who actually had that experience.
True, but we'll see. But I personally think he's a little overvalued because I've seen drafts where people draft him like third before the last round. So what is that like?
Well,
so most is 13, so like 10th round.
2, 10. So like 12th pick.
Yeah, I wouldn't do
10th pick, yeah. 11th pick, something like that. Yeah. Okay, I see. Top 120.
Yeah.
Okay. Unfortunately, one of my overhyped guys is Eric Bledsoe.
Oh.
Yeah. I know you have him undervalued, but I think Eric Bledsoe is he's more of like a big name because he was an all-star and people know he's good. But I think on that Pelicans team, he's going to be playing he has too much competition and not as many opportunities as he did on the Bucks. Mm-hmm. So I think, going into fantasy, he is ranked a bit higher than I feel like he should be because he was on the Bucks.
Okay.
But because of that, I feel like he's not worth that round pick. I still think he's going to be a great player. But for the value that he's going right now, I think he's not worth it.
Okay.
To be more specific on that.
Okay. I can't argue with that. Moving on to forwards, my overvalued player, and I might get a lot of hate for this because I know a lot of people like him, it's Jason Tatum. I think he's super overvalued because obviously from what I've seen, he's supposedly like 10th, top 10, which I think is a little too high. Like he's over players like Luka and Kawhi and Paul George, who I personally would take without a doubt over Jason Tatum. I get it, Kemba's hurt, Gordon Hayward's gone, but even when Gordon Hayward was there, it's not like Gordon Hayward did a lot. Mm-hmm. There's a reason he left. And Jason played well last year. Like, I don't know how much he can get better, to be honest with you. I'm not saying he's going to be bad. He's going to be great, but I think for that value, you can get somebody else that's better and more guaranteed.
Yeah. All right. My first forward is Karis LeVert.
Oh, okay.
He averaged 16 shots per game last season.
Yeah.
He is not going to get 16 shots again this season.
That's a good pick.
That's just what it is. I think he's overvalued because of his last season stats, but that's without Kyrie, that's without KD. A lot of things are going to change on the Nets, and LeVert's role is going to diminish.
Yeah.
Not to nothing, but it's definitely not what it was before.
Yeah. That's a good pick. My last forward bust, sad to say because you picked him as your sleeper, is Kelly Oubre.
I had a feeling that you were going to say Oubre.
Definitely not going to be what he was in the Suns because I don't think he's going to get the same opportunities. And just the way Golden State's offense runs, they're not an ISO team. But a lot of Kelly also at the same time, he had a lot of ISO, like pick and roll game with him. And I don't see that happening, especially obviously he's not the player we expected, but Wiggins is a solid player. So he also still needs to share that. You got Curry. So I don't, for his value, at least, I don't like him. But if you want to take a flyer later in the rounds and he's available, go ahead. So
I see. My last forward is actually Danilo Gallinari.
Oh yeah.
He's the Hawks made a lot of moves and Danilo was one of them, and they just have too much now. They just have too much. There's no way he's gonna get the shot share that he had before on the Thunder with Trae Young, Bog, John Collins for now.
Yeah.
It's just way too much.
Yeah, they have a lot.
Yeah, I just feel like Danilo will be that sharpshooter, but I see him more doing I don't even know what kind of production he's gonna have. But I think I had him at 12, not 12 shots. Double-digit shots per game.
Yeah.
But
he was a baller last year, and we know he's not going to do that.
Yeah.
So, okay. Moving on to center for overvalued. My first overvalued center, I wouldn't say he's overvalued, but I would just stay away from, personally, is Al Horford.
Oh. Okay.
I know the opportunity is there, but in my opinion, I think he's just aging a lot. And I think the way he plays his game isn't like the old Atlanta days. He's now... he used to be like a post-up center, but now he's sort of a stretch 4, stretch 5. Yeah, and I don't like him personally. Again, if he's available in your late rounds, go ahead and get him. But personally, do not reach for this guy.
So you don't think we don't agree that they're even at value too, correct? Skip over, go for somebody who's more of a sleeper potential over him.
Yes.
Okay, just wanted to clarify.
Yes.
My first center is Rashard Holmes.
He was a baller last year.
He was so great until he got hurt, and he was supposed to come back, and he was, it was very finicky. But Kings just signed Whiteside, hurts his value a lot. I don't think he's going to produce as much. Efficiency will still be there, but opportunity won't be.
Mind you, Holmes also only played super well when Bagley was hurt.
Yeah.
He's supposed to be full 100%, so that's a good pick. My last center for overvalued, and I think he's overvalued all the time. I've just completely lost hope on him, is Mitch Robinson.
Oh.
Personally, he will get you the blocks though. I will say that, but aside from that, that's it.
Mitchell Robinson has foul trouble, and that's why he never gets minutes, and it's tough because he can easily produce
really good
early round
value.
Center numbers, but it's just he doesn't get game time.
On top of that, they signed Nerlens Noel.
Yes, that is true.
So
Nerlens Noel is still very, very
he's a
viable.
stud. Yeah. So
for sure.
And I don't trust Knicks players. I'll be honest. Randall might be the only one, maybe, but I'm not. And they rank Robinson pretty high.
Oh, they do.
Yeah, they bring it pretty high.
My last center for overhyped is Serge Ibaka.
Oh wow, that's funny because a lot of people like him this year.
Yeah, he was getting 12 shots per game on the Raptors with Kawhi, Paul George. That's not gonna happen. And Marcus Morris. Yeah. Marcus Morris is a volume shooter. Ibaka is not gonna get all the opportunities he had before. The reason why Harrell was so good is because he had that very huge, energetic, drive into the paint, hard playing ball.
Yeah. Ibaka
isn't that style. He's a stretch. He's gonna play a stretch 5. Zubac, who was their starting center,
and he wasn't bad either.
He obviously wasn't playing as many minutes, but he still was their starting center. So I see them splitting minutes very much.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't think Ibaka's gonna do as well.
All right.